Guys, Sean here from Better Assholes. What an amazing bloody day. This just blows my mind. Listen, if you're like me and everybody else in the world right now, you've probably noticed that LA is on fire. This is such insanity. You usually see California wildfires out in, like national parks area, all the tree fucking up north, middle of forest type of, like out there, right? And so usually the people affected by a lot of those fires or landslides or whatever are, these celebrities that built big $100 million mega mansions on a cliff in a forest, and your house burns down and falls off a cliff. Right now, the Palisades, parts of, I guess, Hollywood Hills and, different, it's actually scattered to the point where it's hard to say there's a fire. It's multiple fires in different areas of different magnitudes, but it is insane. And when you look at the footage, you can see complete neighborhoods burnt down. We're not talking a fire burning one or two houses or a few trees, or we're talking an entire neighborhood, all the cars, the post office boxes, the stores, everything. And I feel bad because as much as I don't like California politically, um, I had some good times in Santa Monica. Exactly where this is happening, the Santa Monica area, or Hollywood and all this is I used to spend a lot of time there. That was my stomping grounds, and one of the locations for I guess one of our businesses that I was working on at the time. That was a head office for our West Coast business. So I feel bad about that. It's a nice area. I like the area. you know, don't like California politics, but it is sad to see that happen. And it's one thing, just to hear about, all these rich celebrities lose their houses or whatever. But I mean, it's uh, taking landmarks, it's taking, a lot of the things that we enjoyed about the area that we like when we think about LA, and that, Santa Monica, Palisades, whatever, all that area, right? So here's kind of the crazy part about it all now is that two things. The country's pretty divided to a level where you used to see a lot of camaraderie. And now you just see people kind of point and laugh and say, well, look, that's what you signed up for. And I mean, if you really look at it, the last few incidences we had, you've seen issues in Florida, storms in Florida, fires in Carolina, North Carolina. You've fires in Texas. Storms, this and that, and you hear people say disparaging things about those states based on their politics. So I can very much understand why the political gate is open now when it happens in California, and a lot of it has to do with politics. Then, yeah, that's what you're going to expect to receive, right? You'd be a dick, somebody's going to be a dick back. Now, the mayor of LA, she just got back from Ghana, and she knows her shit's fucked up because I saw her in an interview and she looked like she was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to jail for this. And the whole fact of, she kind of wasn't there. I mean, you don't know that, what's happening is happening, but, you got to make sure that you get back home immediately. As soon as there's that one fire, they go, oh, that tree's on fire. You get on a plane and you get home because, I mean, there's nothing in Ghana that, really requires the LA mayor to be there. Like nothing over there that's more important than being in LA during a fire. So that was a big misstep. And then the fact, and this gets into a cross between politics, has to do with, California politics in general, the governor, the mayors over there, the whole landscape. And that's really How do they expect? Now, it was reported that they cut back on stuff like water, on reservoirs, on fire departments, on raises, on they didn't really maintain a good preventative measures for fires. They didn't have a plan to fight fires. They didn't have, there was no preventative maintenance done apparently. Um, Now you're hearing that there's hydrants that have no water in them. You're hearing that the reservoir that was supposed to be filled with water is not filled with water. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. Money, you're spending money on illegals instead of spending money on your fire department. So, I mean, when things burn down, things burn down. And hopefully people wake up. Hopefully these people now they know what they voted for. They know who they voted for. And so, sometimes it comes around full circle. You may have voted for, you lived in California because it's ultra liberal, and then you figured you vote for the most ultra liberal person. And when it comes to budgets and taxes, you want to be taxed a lot, but you want to put all the money into stuff that has no relevance. So say hi to, I guess all the rainbow sidewalks you bought and the LGBT stuff and the DEI stuff and the this and that, right? When it really breaks down to it, and here's something else I heard, right? Like part of the problem was they couldn't find enough diverse firefighters to, keep the service going, to keep, you know, prevent fires, right? If you can't hire enough people of a certain, uh, you know, gender to fight fires for you, and so therefore you're not going to hire enough people, maybe that's the problem. I mean, just so many problems. It sucks. It sucks. And I mean, really, yes, it shouldn't be political, but I mean, when you change your system, you change your laws, you change your society to be ultra liberal and not think, right? You have a whole society of dumb people that, what were you thinking, right? You want to defund the police, you wanted to defund firefighters. And let me tell you something. This is something that in my how do you put this here? Because I guess how this goes for us, I mean, it is something that it's government, right? Firefighters. And so recently, I think it was last year before, I mean, there was a big conversation about, yeah, it was last year, of how firefighters make too much money. And these are liberals that are, you know, also other government employees that are complaining that firefighters make too much money and shouldn't be making the money they should, that they're making. And meanwhile, you see a fire like this. What if you don't have the firefighters? It's different. I'll tell you something. Police are different because sometimes you don't need police just sitting eating donuts in parking lots. Every problem isn't a speeding problem, right? So you could do without cops, as many cops as you have, maybe patrolling parking lots and donut shops and McDonald's, right? So maybe you don't need as many cops. But the problem with fires and firefighters is that if there's a guy outside my house and he looks very suspect, I go outside, fuck him up. If that person has a weapon or they're crazy or I have to go above and beyond, I have the means to go above and beyond. So I feel safe. If there's not one cop out there, I feel safe. I feel safer without cops. But fires are different because you can't fight a fire on your own. I've battled my own house fire before and I won. And that not everybody does that, right? Not everybody wins, not everybody lives, and not everybody, you know, wakes up in the house the next day, right? So that's a whole different story. But not everybody could fight a fire. That fire going on in LA, normal people can't fight that. If you have a poorly maintained fire service or fire management service or whatever, that's going to be a problem. Be ill-equipped. You can't have not have water, not have fire trucks, not have the tools you need. That's a real big problem. And that's where these guys are headed. This fire has the capability to burn everything down, and they need to get firefighters from obviously other places. They need to figure out where are the planes. There has to be some other way. So this is an ongoing issue. Hopefully they get this sorted out sooner than later, because as much as we don't like California's politics, we, really, I at least believe that, you know, I like to see and have, these memories of how things used to be. You know, even if you can't agree with the politics, sometimes you want to see that house that was in the movie. You do want to go and see the palm trees, or you want to see Beverly Hills. You want to experience, even though you may not like it. So sometimes that's very important. So hopefully they fix these fires, get everything fought. And until next time, thanks for joining us.